Asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityurma amritam gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om, lead us from the unreal to the real. Lead us from darkness unto light. Lead us from death to immortality. Om, peace. All the building blocks are in place. Now, how do we make this knowledge real and effective in our lives? How do we practice it? How do we make it part of our lives, assimilate it? There was very beautiful and impressive chanting, Dr. Bhatt. At the end of the chant, you see what a beautiful practice that is. This very Sakshi, the seer and the seen, the Sakshi, the pure consciousness, which is our real self, which we really are. Look at how we can integrate it into practice. That Sakshi, Atma, oh Lord, my God, you are the Atma. You see, I had once asked a very senior Swami, Upen Maharaj, Swami Nirmuktananda, who passed away a few years ago, he was 102, 103 years old, disciple of Swami Shivananda, Mahapurush Maharaj. And this very senior Swami, I had heard a story where he went to Swami Ranganathanandaji, who at that time was the president of the order. And this Ranganathanji is also a disciple of Swami Shivanandaji, and this Swami also was a disciple of Swami Shivanandaji. And he went and asked Swami Ranganathanandaji, in Bengali, Amar ki habe? What will happen to me? Suddenly. And an eyewitness told me that Ranganathanji, without being startled or caught off guard, straight away said, "This is your last birth. I shall come again," he says. Ranganathanji says, "I shall come again and do for Swamiji's work. I will do Swamiji's work. But you don't have to come again. This is your last birth." And Upen Maharaj bowed and left. That was the conversation. I heard it from one of Ranganathananji's sevaks, attendants. I went to Upen Maharaj and asked him. That was after Ranganathanji had passed away. I still remember that scene. This old Swami was sitting on Holy Mother's temple on the bank of the Ganges in Belur Math and facing towards Swami Vivekananda's temple. I went and bowed down to him and I said, "This is what I heard. Is it true? I just wanted to verify it." So I asked him, "You said what will happen to me?" That's all I said. And then he completed the rest. He said, then President Maharaj, that means before that, Ranganathanji, he said, "This is your last birth. I shall come again, but you don't have to come again. This is your last birth." Now, see the difference in attitude. I was thrilled, of course, to hear this, but he is not overwhelmed by it. Rather, he was overwhelmed by Ranganathanandaji's attitude. He said to me, "Look at President Maharaj's attitude, Ranganathanji's attitude. He will come again to do Swamiji's work." I said, "Swami, put that aside. He has given you permanent leave. Apnake chutti diye diyeche." And you see, what a reasonable, cool assessment. The Swami said to me calmly. He said in Bengali, "Dekha jak Mahapurusher Ashirvad." Well, let us see. It is the blessings of a Mahapurusha. Mahapurush means Mahapurush Maharaj, Swami Shivanandaji. He is not overtly thrilled by it, or, as athletes would do these days, pump the hair. I've done it. Nothing like that. Let us see. It's the blessings of very calm and commonsensical attitude. At another time, I had asked him that, that day itself I asked him what is the relationship between the chosen deity we repeat the mantra and worship and the Atman we read about in Vedanta? What is the relationship? He said, first of all he said, do you think the chosen deity is only here? He's here and there and everywhere, all around. He's swept his arms around. Have you not heard what Sri Ramakrishna said to Swami Akhandananda? That Sri Ramakrishna said it and Swami Akhandananda also said it directly to this Swami. This Swami told me. Bengali first. Jejar Atma Shetarishta. Jejar Ishto Shetaratma. Sorry, the other way around. Your chosen deity is indeed your Atman, the witness, the Sakshi, the pure consciousness, that we conceive of as the chosen deity. It's exactly the same thing. Directly the pure consciousness, you cannot worship it, you can only be it. You can understand and then you become one with it, you are it. But if you want to worship it, keep your mind there, then you need a form, you need a structure to do it. So that's the chosen deity. It's the same thing. And Sri Ramakrishna said it. So that is a great thing to keep in mind. The bhakti practices and the Vedanta are not two different things. In one you are approaching it through the heart, in another one you are approaching it through the intellect. Somebody asked me that can I, when the mood takes me, can I approach it from the path of jnana, sometimes through meditation, sometimes through love and devotion? And I said, yes, that's what I do. But one thing I want to add here is that in the case of the repeating the mantra and the meditation, that is to be done regardless of whether I am in the mood or not. What the Guru has said and what I have committed to the Guru, that has to be done. Mood is a matter of the mind. That should not be taken too seriously. So my prescribed practices, which I have taken from the Guru, that is a great thing. It's the backbone of our spiritual life. So that should be held on to, regardless of whether I feel good about it or not, whether I'm enthusiastic or not. So that's there. Now in the end of the chant, which Dr. Bhatt was doing, Atma Tvam Girijamati. O Lord, the God I worship, you are the pure consciousness within me. Chosen deity is the Atman. And the Divine Mother is the subtle body. I'm imagining in this way. And the prana, the life forces, they talk about pancha prana in this body. They are the sahachara, the divine companions of the Lord. The body is the temple. Body is the temple. Whatever I take in, Vishaya Upabhoga, whatever I take in through the sense organs, whatever I am seeing, whatever I am hearing, whatever I taste, smell, touch, all of them are offerings to you, my Lord. In a big puja, when you bring all the trays with the goodies and offer it to the Lord, these are all the offerings that I pour at thy feet, my Lord, through my eyes and ears and tongue and nose. And when I walk, I am circumambulating, I am going round thy temple, thy shrine, pradakshina. When I sleep, it is samadhi. That's nice. So easy. Whatever I speak are hymns to thee, my Lord. My speech is hymns to thee, my Lord. Yad yad karomi. Whatever I do throughout life, whatever I say, whatever I do, whatever I think, is thy worship. You see what a beautiful combination of jnana and bhakti here. And intensely practical. Where can you not practice this? Another corollary, side effect of this, or side benefit of this, the ego has nowhere to run. I am this body. No, this is the temple of God. It's not me, it's not me. My thoughts, no, it's a Divine Mother. This mind. The consciousness radiating through me is the Lord Himself. I am eating, having a nice time. No, I am offering as puja to the Lord within. I am taking an evening walk. Oh, I am circumambulating the Lord. Pradakshina. Because where is the Lord? Not there. All over the universe. The Lord is there everywhere in the universe. So, converting everything into a practice. And here, now we shall get into a set of practices. 6 samadhis. First of all, verse number 21. And then we will get into the practices. Khavayagni jalorvishu Khavayagni jalorvishu Devatiryam naradishu Devatiryam naradishu Abhinna Satchidananda Abhinna Satchidananda Vidyete Rupanamani Vidyete Rupanamani. This is a follow-on to the 20th verse. Every experience is composed of 5 factors. The first 3, Asti Bhati Priyam, existence, isness, consciousness and bliss are common to all experiences. They are the ground of all experience. And all experiences also have name and form, which are different. Each experience has a different name and form. Now here he is saying, look around you, this material universe. So the ancient physics was 5 elements: sky, air, heat, water, fire, water, and earth. Ka means sky, vayu, wind, common akash. Agni, fire, jala, water, urvi, the earth. In all of them, in all these we see the 5 elements making up this universe. And also, Deva Diryam Naradishu, in the gods, it's small g, the divine beings, gods, angels, whatever you call them, and in the animals, and human beings, and every other creature, all of them, Asti Bhati Priyam, are same. They differ only in name and form. Everywhere you see, Brahman is the same. An elephant doesn't have more Brahman than an ant. Brahman is the same. Names and forms are different. Now we come to the practices. 22. Upeksha nama rupe dve Upeksha nama rupe dve Satchidananda tatparaha Satchidananda tatparaha Samadhim sarvada kuryat Samadhim sarvada kuryat Hridaye vathava bahihi Hridaye vathava bahihi. Alright. Now what do we have to do? If existence, consciousness, bliss is common in every experience and all experiences differ only in the name and form, if you want to focus on Brahman, if you want to focus on God, then you have to focus on the existence, consciousness, bliss and somehow ignore the name and form. Take your attention away from the name and form. Right now our attention is completely focused. Not only on name and form, name, form, function, value. This is what we are focused on, not the reality behind it. You see, when Sri Ramakrishna throws away money and clay into the river, taka mati mati chaka, what he is dismissing is the difference between the name and form. We say this is clay, useless. This is gold, valuable. So the value is in the name and form. But the reality behind them, Brahman is absolutely the same in both. So what we have to do is take our attention away from the name and form and focus on Satchidananda, existence, consciousness, bliss. Upeksha nama rupe dve Satchidananda tatpara. Upeksha, ignoring. For the time being. They are there, you cannot rub them out. Name and form cannot be rubbed out. Ignoring that for the time being. Satchidananda tatpara. Focused on Asti Bhati Priyam, existence, consciousness and bliss. Or Satchidananda, the same thing. Samadhim sarvada kuryat. Always, constantly, intently practice these samadhis. Where? Inside and outside. Hridaye athava bahi. What will you practice inside? Drg Drsya Viveka. I am the seer and everything is the seen. Including this body and mind. It is seen. I am the seer. That's the way to practice it inside. And he will give us techniques. And outside, names and forms differ. Existence, isness. I find it everywhere. Everywhere you look out there is isness, astitva. Focus on that. Not on the name and form. Not the dress which isness puts on to come before you. Now he's going to give us 6 techniques. 23. Savikalpo nirvikalpaha, savikalpo nirvikalpaha, samadhir dvividho hridhi, samadhir dvividho hridhi, drishya shabdanuvedena, drishya shabdanuvedena, savikalpa punardvidha, savikalpa punardvidha. 6 techniques. They are called 6 samadhis. One, two, three. We classify as internal. Riddhi literally means in the heart, which means in the subtle body, in the mind or intellect. And external. External means anything in the world. It may be a cup or a tree or the ocean or something. Anything you come across in the world. Now these 6 techniques are not optional. You can practice either this or that, but when you practice this you have to go this way. First one, then you have to do this one, and then comes this. Or if you want to do it externally, first this, and then this. What are they? Let me give you the Sanskrit names and then translate. Sanskrit names themselves are difficult and the English is absolutely incomprehensible. Drishya Anuvidha Savikalpa. Shabda Anuvidha. I'll give you the English. Savikalpaka. And Nirvikalpaka. Call it Nirvikalpa. And here also Savikalpa. And here Drishyanvidha. Savikalpa. Same thing. Shabda Anuvidha Savikalpa and Nirvikalpa. What do they mean? Don't be intimidated. We have been practicing a couple of this already without knowing it. Let me read it out. Okay. The list of 6 techniques. Savikalpa, Nirvikalpa these words mean, Savikalpa means the distinction between cognizer and cognized object is still there. With the distinction between cognizer and cognized object. So I am the cognizer in a very simple way. This is a cognized object. I feel this. I am something which knows this thing. This is Savikalpa. What is the Vikalpa here? The pen. With this. And Nirvikalpa would be without the distinction between knower and known. Without the distinction between knower and known. Cognizer and cognized. Now, the 6 techniques are internal and external. First, internal. Drishyanuviddha Antara Savikalpa Samadhi. It translates as, number 1, translates as internal samadhi with the distinction of cognizer and cognized with the help of a subtle object. Or with the support of a subtle object. Let me translate that again. Internal samadhi with the distinction of cognizer and cognized with the support of a subtle object. A thought. Drishya means a thought. Drishya means something that is like seen, but not external seen in the mind. The second one, that's what we have been practicing. Second one is Shabdanuviddha Savikalpaka, Antara Savikalpaka Samadhi. Internal samadhi with the distinction of the cognizer and cognized with the help of a Vedantic text. That's the second one. And the third one is Nirvikalpaka Samadhi. Internal samadhi without any distinction of cognizer and cognized. Let me repeat that. 1. Internal samadhi with the distinction of cognizer and cognized with the help of a subtle object, with the support of a subtle object, a thought. And the second one is internal samadhi with the distinction of cognizer and cognized with the help of a Vedantic text. Third one is internal samadhi without the distinction of cognizer and cognized. And exactly the same thing applies here. Number 4, external samadhi with the help of, with the distinction of cognizer and cognized with the help of an object, a gross object. With the support of a gross object. And number 5 is external samadhi with the distinction of cognizer and cognized with the support of a Vedantic text. Shabda means text. And then 6th, external samadhi without the distinction of cognizer and cognized.
And gross object will be
any object, anything distinct also. We'll see. We'll come into that. Now, in fact, when we go into this, we will see we have already, every day we have been practicing these two. At the beginning of every talk, these two. That's what we have been practicing. It's probably easier to practice them than to understand the names. Let's see. Come to verse number 24, which we have done many times. This verse, yes. Internal means when you focus inward. You see why this distinction has been made? Because the veiling power of Brahman, the veiling power of Maya, the veiling power of Maya is supposed to obscure the distinction between the seer and the seen within us, and Brahman and the world outside us. So the internal samadhi is supposed to help us penetrate through the veil of the veiling power of Maya within us. The external samadhi is supposed to help us to penetrate through the veiling power of Maya externally.
Cognizer and cognizable, is that just the seer and seer?
Seer and seer, yes.
But if somebody penetrates it within,
yes,
won't it automatically include the world?
No, it won't.
It will not.
a Sankhya or Yoga philosopher, for example, does penetrate it within and understands himself or herself to be the pure consciousness, Purusha, but still regards the entire universe as Prakriti, a real nature out there, not Brahman. So only non-dual Vedanta is everything inside is also Brahman, outside is also Brahman. And the division is made only because of the way we perceive ourselves. We perceive ourselves internally as a subject and externally everything as the object. That's how we interact with the world. And that's how it's helping us. Otherwise it's one Brahman. But we have to divide it up into two because we have an internal experience and an external experience. So, yes.
The internal thing can be practiced after death too, isn't it? In subtle body?
In subtle body, if you are able to practice it.
Okay.
Because in subtle body, normally in dream, for example, we retain no control over it. Now let us see. 24. We have practiced it often. 24. Kamadhyashchittaga drishya Kamadhyashchittaga drishya Tatsakshittvena chetanam Tatsakshittvena chetanam Dhyaye drishyanuvidhoyam Dhyaye drishyanuvidhoyam Samadhi savikalpakaha Samadhi savikalpakaha. Remember, nothing new is being taught to us here. All the theory has been given to us. We have all the knowledge. Now we are just being taken to the laboratory to perform the experiment, to see it for ourselves. Kamadhyashchittaga drishya. All the modifications of the mind, thoughts, feelings, emotions, ideas, memories continuously coming in my mind. Become aware of yourself as the witness. When any thought, let it come. Instead of focusing on the thought, use the thought to turn back upon yourself. Thoughts will be different. They will come and go. Don't run after a thought to hold it. Don't be afraid of a thought when it is coming. Do not be even worried if there are no thoughts. If the mind is confused and tamasic and sleepy, don't be worried. You use that as to be aware of the witness of the confused, sleepy and tamasic mind. Right? You are not dealing with the mind here. You are using the mind to turn back upon yourself. Tat sakshittvena chetanam. Become aware of the thought. Become aware of the consciousness as a witness of that thought. Become aware of yourself as a witness of that thought. Dhyayet, meditate thus. This is called drishyanuvidha, with the support of a thought, of a subtle object. Drishya means anything that is experienced by the witness, of a subtle object. Samadhi savikalpaka, internal, with cognizer-cognized division, samadhi. So this is the first practice. We have been doing this. Now what will happen is, follow this carefully. As you keep going, using every thought to turn back upon yourself, to become aware of the witness again and again, aware of awareness again and again and again, you can drop the thought. The thought which you are using to reflect back. It's like, I have a mirror. I take up the mirror, my face is reflected there. I use the mirror and the reflected face to become aware of my real face. I cannot see my real face, but I become aware of that, then I put the mirror down. But holding on to the awareness of my real face, holding on to the awareness of my real face. Use a text to stabilize it, that awareness of the real face. Real face, mirror example is an example. I don't mean that you should go and look into your mirror all the time. We do that enough. So, there isn't anything worth seeing. Swami Vivekananda, before one of his lectures here in the United States, in one of the lectures, he was getting ready, dressing room, and one of the devotees, a lady I think, she saw Swamiji going in front of the mirror again and again and coming back, and then again going back to the mirror looking at his face. And she thought, oh, the Swami is vain of his good looks. Then he turned towards her and he said, you know, the moment I go away from the mirror, I forget what I look like. I can't remember what I look like. It's quite possible. The mind is so deeply focused on the reality within, not on the body. Swami Brahmananda, when he was president of Belur Math, Swami Shuddhananda was a young monk at that time and getting all the work done. So some resolutions had to be passed and the signature of the president was required. And he asked Brahmananda, and Swami Brahmananda would sometimes put off these things. Not today, I'm not feeling well. Not feeling well for signature. It'll come tomorrow, day after. After being put off a couple of times, the Swami said to Swami Brahmananda, it's important. Swami, you must sign this. And then Swami Brahmananda says plaintively, he says, I want to sign it, but what can I do? I can't remember my name. Or I can't remember how I signed it, something like that. I can't remember how I signed it. It was a different kind of aura to these people. Trustee meeting, the highest body meeting of Belur Math. Imagine a trustee meeting where this is really happening, it's recorded. Swami Brahmananda is presiding. Swami Sarvapriyananda is the general secretary of the Ramakrishna order. Swami Vivekananda had already passed away by that time. Who else is there? Swami Premananda, manager of Belur Math. I think Hari Maharaj was probably there, Mahapurush Maharaj was there. At least these and one or two other direct disciples. And many other monks of that time, Belur Math. And then they are in the courtyard of Belur Math, and Swami Brahmananda asks, where is Baburam, Premananda? And somebody said he's upstairs in the temple, the old temple. He's meditating there. So Swami Brahmananda asked Swami Sharadananda, Sharat Maharaj, to bring him down, call him for the meeting. So Sharadanji went up and he saw Premanji sitting there and meditating. Now Premanji was very lightly built and Sharadanji was equally heavily built. He saw Premanji sitting there absorbed in meditation. Instead of calling him, he picked up Premanji and brought him down in his lap and brought him down and in front of Swami Brahmananda set him down. As he set him down, he landed on his feet in Samadhi. Seeing that, Swami Brahmananda went into Samadhi. And there was a wave of ecstasy spreading across the courtyard as the direct disciples circled Swami Brahmananda, Swami Premananda and sang Kirtan. And the monks came with cymbals and drums and they sang, and there was an uproarious mart of joy. And that's how the meeting ended.
That's the trustee meeting.
That's So use a text. As you move from this to this, drop the thought. When you become stabilized in the consciousness within that I am the witness of whatever thought comes, now turn your attention away from the thought, use a set of words. What are the words? Recognize the consciousness within you to be 25. Did we read this? Asanga Satchidananda Asanga Satchidananda Swaprabho Dvaita Varjita Swaprabho Dvaita Varjita Asmiti Shabda Vidhoyam Asmiti Shabda Vidhoyam Samadhi Savikalpaka Samadhi Savikalpaka. Recognize the witness consciousness within. Don't imagine. Recognize. See that it is asanga, unattached. Truly it is. So many thoughts have come and gone. So many ideas have come and gone. So many desires are coming and going. So many experiences in life. None of them the witness is attached to. The witness is constant. They have come and gone. So the witness consciousness is asanga, unattached to anything that shines in its light. Those things come and go. Never be attached to anything, because your real nature is not attached to anything. A very senior Swami who's now they are in Belur Much, so I will not take his name. Somebody asked him, he was a very revered monk of the order, what is your spiritual practice? Immediately came the reply, Asanga, unattached. There is a story of Janak Raja, the emperor who was a jnani, knower of Brahman, and Shukadeva, the great sage. And both of them were sitting and talking about non-dualism, Advaita. When the news came to the emperor, sir, your city is on fire, Mithila. There is a fire there. And Shukadeva, who had just taken a bath in the river, he had no possessions in the world except a change of the loincloth he wore. So one set was hanging on a tree near the river, and the other one he was wearing, and they had nothing else in the world. Such a great renouncer. His first thought was, will my loincloth be burnt? And he started running towards the river to rescue the loincloth. Then he came, satisfied the fire was not there, so he came back. And Janak Raja, the emperor, was sitting there and smiling. He says, "O sage, you are worried about one loincloth being burned in the fire. But this entire kingdom, Mithilayam pradigdhayam name dahati kinchana. If the entire city goes up in flames also, it does not affect me in the least bit. That does not mean he's like Nero playing the fiddle while Rome burns. Not like that. He is executing all actions, whatever has to be done to protect the city and everything. Completely unattached. In the midst of everything. He's an emperor. He's more unattached than this monk who has got nothing in the world except two loincloths. But he's so attached to that, the first thought is to run towards forgetting Brahman to rescue the loincloth. So unattached, asanga, in the midst of this world also, in the midst of samsara also, I'm unattached. You see, all attachments are to the body, are to the mind. I'm not even attached to the body and mind. What will I be attached to in the world? So many bodies and minds have come and gone. What will scare me? Okay. So everything, the world will go away. The name of the world is Jagat. Jagat Gacchati iti Jagat. That which goes is world. So it's by its very definition it will go. Everything will go away. Good and bad. There's a story of the Buddhist monk who came to the emperor. And the emperor said to the Buddhist monk, "Oh Bhikshu, welcome, but I am beset with worries." "What are your worries, sire?" "Well, there's been a famine in the kingdom, and there's poverty, and I don't know how I will feed my subjects. And the enemies surround, their armies grow in strength around my kingdom. And my minister, I suspect him of being corrupt. And to top it all, my son, the prince, is a worthless young fellow. I thought I could depend on him, but he's no good. He's not interested in anything. No responsibility." And the monk just said, "O emperor, this too shall pass." The emperor said, "All right." And the monk went away. 20 years later, he was passing by that path again. The monk was older, and the same emperor was still there, much older. And the monk met him, was invited with respect to the court, and the emperor said, "Welcome, O Bhikshu. I remember having met you many, many years ago, and you said something very wise. This too shall pass." And truly, it has passed. When you passed by this kingdom, by your grace, so much of rainfall was there, and bumper harvest, good crops. Problem is solved. Ministers have been removed and new ministers appointed. They're doing a good job, and the enemies have become friends. And wonder of wonders, that young man, the prince, is turned out to be a wonderfully responsible young man. He's ready to take over the kingdom, and I'm at peace. So it's wonderful. And the bhikshu said, "Oh emperor, this too shall pass." Asanga. You don't have to practice to be asanga, unattached. You should not practice. Just recognize that you are. Every day of our lives, we give up the entire universe when we go into deep sleep. Suppose I die in deep sleep, the body dies, I do not come back into this life again. So it's gone. Without any strain at all. Physically when I am dying, I know I am dying and I am sick and I am leaving everything, so I am crying. But when I go to sleep happily if I do not wake up. So the universe goes away from us every night, totally, completely. In deep sleep. Asanga, you are completely unattached. You are more unattached than the greatest Paramahamsa who existed. The Atman by nature is unattached. Satchidananda, existence, consciousness, bliss. You are infinite existence. You are infinite consciousness. You are bliss itself. So Shankaracharya comments, by a fraction of that bliss which you are, the entire world moves. All the joys of this world, which people, all living creatures are running after, the joys of this world, are only a fraction of the ocean of bliss which you are. Existence, consciousness, bliss. That consciousness within. Now you can understand this. Earlier we just repeated it. Now you can understand how. Asti bhati priyam. You are that. Swaprabha. You are self-luminous. By your light everything is known. So nothing is known by anything externally. You know everything. Dvaita varjita. Without a second. Now we can understand this. Without a second means existence, consciousness, bliss, you are. Anything that exists apart from you will become, anything that exists apart from existence will become non-existence. Other than existence by the simplest logic. Other than existence, non-existent. Nothing exists apart from you. Dvaita varjita, devoid of duality, does not mean there is no other thing. But everything that there is in you. Exists because of you. Apart from you, the Satchidananda. Nothing can exist by logic, not by law. No, you're not demanding anything, you're not making a rule. What can exist without existence? You are existence. Dvaita varjita, devoid of duality. Asmi, I am. Own it up. This is important. Don't say, oh, the God within me is Satchidananda, Sangha, devoid of duality. But I, poor fellow, I am attached. I am not infinite. I am in duality. No. Asmi means aham asmi. The grammar is I am. I am that. Use that text. You say that, Swami, by the time I get through a couple of these words, other thoughts come up in my mind. Go back to 24. This method. Use the thought to reflect back to the witness and then affirm this about the witness. Another thought comes up. Doesn't matter. Use that first technique to become aware of the witness again. Come back again and affirm these words of the witness. Asanga, Satchidananda, Dvaita Varjita. It pays to repeat the Sanskrit. Associate the English meanings with the Sanskrit words and repeat it to yourself like a mantra. Then this is Shabda Vidhoyam. This is an internal Samadhi with the help of a Vedantic text. Shabda Vidha with the help of words. Now what will you do? As you repeat that, you will feel a kind of absorption. You will not feel like repeating the words anymore, mentally. So Ramakrishna used to say to his young disciples, while meditating deeply, do you feel a kind of intoxication inside? You feel completely absorbed inside, not feeling like repeating these words. Then drop the words and nothing. He says, next one. 26. Swanubhuti rasaveshat, Swanubhuti rasaveshat, Drishya shabda upekshatu, Drishya shabda upekshatu, Nirvikalpa samadhisyat, Nirvikalpa samadhisyat, Nivata sthita deepavat, Swanubhuti rasaveshat. By the absorption, the intoxication brought about by this deepening within. When you feel that absorption, drop the thoughts, drop the words also. They are props, they are crutches. As the witness. Then repeat the words to stabilize yourself as the witness. and then drop the thought and the words. Drop the thought and the words. What will happen? You will remain absorbed in Brahman. All this was the function of the mind. No matter how high the samadhi, as long as the cognizer and cognized are different, it's still the mind, it's thinking. When you drop the thoughts and the words, how will you drop it? By absorption. It will happen by itself. You cannot force it. If you try to force it, it will be one more thought. I must now drop the words and think about and become nirvikalpa. That is a thought. How will you become nirvikalpa? It will stop by itself and you will drift into nirvikalpa samadhi. More likely I'll drift into sleep. Quite possible. The moment you are aware that you have drifted up into a stupor or sleep, use that to become aware of the consciousness watching the stupor or the sleep. Then repeat the words to yourself and then try to go and then slide into nirvikalpa samadhi. It's not easy, but that's how it happens. You move into it, you slide into it, you glide into it. You don't make an effort there. If you make an effort, you'll never attain nirvikalpa. That is internal. External, okay, upekshatu, drishya shabda upekshatu. Drop the thoughts, drop the words. Nirvikalpa samadhi sya. This is nirvikalpa samadhi. This is Vedantic nirvikalpa samadhi. You can approach the same thing through a yogic method by deep concentration, by holding on to a thought so intensely that all other thoughts are excluded. Then drop that thought, you will go into nirvikalpa samadhi. In this way, you hold on to a knowledge, using the thoughts to reflect back into the Atman itself. Then use a set of words, then drop both, you will go into nirvikalpa samadhi. This is a way of making the knowledge real. You will more and more clearly feel that you are the witness self. You are not the body mind. It will become a living experience for you. The more you do it, the more real it will be. Now it's at the level of understanding. And if you try, maybe an intuitive flash or two, that yes, this is the way it is. And if you do it again and again and again, it will become commonplace for you. Nivata stita deepa. This is a reference to the Gita verse 6:21. Yata deepo nivatastho nengate sokumasmita yogina yatachittascha yunjato yogamatman. As a lamp, oil lamp placed in a windless place like this, the light will not flicker, the flame will not flicker. Which means you have not fallen asleep. The flame has not been blown out. The flame is there, but completely unflickering. Flickering is a thought. So only consciousness without any movement there. Shila Hridayavat, like the heart of a stone. A stone is insentient, a rock. But imagine a mass of sentience, consciousness, yet absolutely undisturbed and dense like a stone. We use the term in our Arati of Sri Ramakrishna, Chid Ghanakaya, a mass of consciousness. That's what you will remain as. That's what you are all the time. Now external samadhi, verse number 27. Ridiva bahya deshepi, ridiva bahya deshepi, yasmin kasminscha vastuni, yasmin kasminscha vastuni, samadhiradya sanmatra. Samadhiradya sanmatra namarupa prithakkritihi namarupa prithakkritihi. Ridiva, just as you did it internally, now look outwards. Suppose you are not feeling like meditating internally. You have a choice. In yoga, you have no choice. You have to sit, asana, then pranayama. And then pratyahara, withdraw the senses. You can't say, no, now I'll walk and do meditation. You can't do that in yogic meditation. Though there is walking meditation in a Buddhist technique. But yogic meditation, it ties you down. And you have to focus inwards. Here, if you want to meditate on a coffee cup, you can do that. You can meditate on the lake. Something good and nice is a good subject for meditation. Use that. If something is too disturbing, think of a very annoying person in your life and I'll meditate on that person. Well, the annoyance itself will not let you meditate. You'll follow that track of thought. So take up something that's non-disturbing, something at least to begin with. Otherwise, after that you'll become an expert. Anything will throw you into Samadhi. Hridiva Bhaya Desheti. As internally, so in the world outside. Yasmin Kashmin Chavastuni. Look at the confidence. What do I have to meditate about? On? What should I meditate on? Anything. Yasmin Kashmin Chavastuni. In any object. A pebble, yes. An image of, great image of Vishnu in Srirangapatnam? Yes, if you like. Anything. Anything at all. Samadhiradhya. First comes this external Samadhi. Samadhiradhya is Sanmatra Nama Rupa Pritakriti. In one word, he has given the technique. From the isness, drop the name and form. In everything that you see externally, you will have the isness. Lake is. Focus on the isness. It's not as easy as you think it is. Name and form will still be there. When you see it, of course the name and form will be there. But don't think about the name and form. What a nice lake. Not that. Lake is. Feel the being of the lake. Astitva. Your mind goes to a bird flying above the lake. The bird is. Astitva. Not the bird. Bird is not important. Lake is not important. The isness is important. This is how you subtract name and form from the isness. You cannot actually erase name and form. They are there. But they are not harmful. Your attention should be on Brahman, isness, not on the name and form. Now, here is something they have not mentioned. If you try it, you will see this happening. When you focus on the isness, after some time you will see the isness is not out there. You are the isness. The isness is here. From there your attention will come inside again. It's your own existence that has been borrowed by the lake there. Now this is something that cannot be logically explained. When you try doing it, you will feel the isness which you feel there is nothing but your own isness. The Brahman within, that name and form of the lake borrows the isness from the Brahman that you are. Name and form given by Maya. Its existence is given by you. So, Sanmatrat Pritakriti. This cannot be explained, it just has to be experienced. I remember once I was speaking about this many years ago in Belur Math, a group of young novices. I still remember the name of the young brahmachari, Pratik. When I said that, we concentrate on the isness of that object. Forget what object it is. The isness, astitva, being. Before I could say the next thing, his face lit up. And he said, but that's me. That points straight back towards you. You feel it's your own isness. Okay. First, now drop that object. Forget the lake or the bird. 28. Akhandaika rasam vastu. Akhandaika rasam vastu. Satchidananda lakshanam. Satchidananda lakshanam. Ityavichinna chinteyam. Ityavichinna chinteyam. Samadhi madhyamo bhavet. Samadhi madhyamo bhavet. Second Samadhi, external. What will happen? As you focus on that isness, drop the object, introduce a set of words, a Vedantic text. Akhanda ekarasam vastu. One undivided, homogeneous reality, where everywhere, if it's a lake, is, trees, is, the beach, is, body, is, universe, is, everywhere isness is akhanda, undivided. The lake is divided from the trees. It's a forest and that's a lake. They're divided, they're different. Name and form. But it's one undivided isness. You will begin to feel you are an ocean of isness. An infinite ocean of being in which all things, people, furniture, houses, lake, trees, these are waves in the ocean of being which you are. I am an infinite ocean of existence in which the universe is like waves coming up and disappearing back into me. You will feel that. You repeat these words. Akhanda ekarasam vastu mentally. What is akhanda ekarasam vastu? Akhanda, undivided. See that it's undivided. Isness is undivided everywhere. Ekarasam, homogeneous, it's the same. There is not better isness there and less isness there. There is not a calm isness there and a disturbed isness there. No. The freeway in LA and that calm lake out there are exactly the same as far as the ocean of isness is concerned. The difference is in the name and form. Akhanda ekarasam, homogeneous. Vastu, reality. What is this? Satchidananda. This Lakshanam, this is what is called Satchidananda in the Upanishads. This is what is defined as Satchidananda. This is Brahman. This is reality. This is God. Akhanda ekarasam vastu. Here and now. Iti avichinna chintaya. Hold on to this without break, as far as possible without break. This is Samadhi Madhyama. This is the second kind of Samadhi. And then what will happen? You glide into, you drop it. You drop the words. Don't drop the isness. Drop the words and glide into the Nirvikalpa Samadhi. Stabdhi bhavo rasa swadat. Stabdhi bhavo rasa swadat. Tritiya purva vanmataha. Tritiya purva vanmataha. Etai samadhi shadvi. Etai samadhi shadvi. Nayet kalam nirantaram. Nayet kalam nirantaram. 29. Stabdhi bhava. Deep absorption. When you drop the words, automatically the words will be dropped. Deep absorption in the ocean of isness. Rasa swada. By tasting the rasa, the bliss of this infinitude. This is a kind of intoxication. You'll be lost in this. Rasa swada. Tritiya purva vanmata. The third Nirvikalpa Samadhi is just like the internal Nirvikalpa Samadhi. There is really no distinction once you go into this. It will be like this. Here you started externally and went into Nirvikalpa Samadhi. Here you started internally and went into Nirvikalpa Samadhi. And Etei Samadhi Shadvi. With these 6 kinds of Samadhis, what do you do now? Kalam Nayet. Spend your time. How much? 1 hour in the morning, 1 hour in the evening? No. All the time. How long? As long as it takes to become natural. As long as it takes to become effortless. As long as you don't feel the need for it anymore. When it's become real for you. When you cannot get away from it anymore. Kalam Nayet, Samadhi Shadvi. By these 6 techniques. I'm giving you a wealth of options. Do anything you like. Kalam Nayet, Nirantaram, without break. I remember a Swami who was teaching us the Ashtavakra in Gangotri. And this word Nirantaram came, without break. Antara means break. Without break, Nirantaram. And we are sitting near the Ganges. It's a torrential stream, very fast, flowing about 150 feet below us. We're sitting in this little ashram. And the Swami, the old Swami, he looked down at us and sitting near his feet. You see, I was trying to think today in the class, how would I explain this word Nirantaram, without break. And then I looked at the Ganges, flowing without break, the torrential flow. Let your practice be like that, O monks. Nirantaram, like the Ganges. And it's a road. And you won't believe it. I still remember. I used to beg for my food, eat, take a walk in the mountain sides, and then before it got dark, I would get into my log cabin and shut the door and window and everything. Meditate for some time because you cannot read, it's too dark, it's dark. And then go to sleep. The problem is you cannot go to sleep either because no work, little food, cold and bracing air, you feel light and healthy all the time and energetic. You don't feel like sleep, but what will you do? So I wrapped the comforters around me, Razai comforters around me. And his words, every time I heard the roar of the Ganges, the word Nirantaram kept coming. Effortlessly, it must have been 4, 5, 6 hours sitting and repeating the mantra. It's because effortlessly, I wasn't trying. You couldn't stop, Nirantaram. Because it's like the Ganges is flowing there and the mind must flow into the mantra in that way. So good part of the night passed away that way. But that was very rare. It's not that I did that all the time. So, Nirantaram, Kalam night Nirantaram. That was repetition of the mantra. Here he says repetition of the 6 techniques. Okay. We'll stop here. And there is 30 and 31, 2 verses. These will bring the whole thing to a conclusion. There is still some material at the end, a bonus material, which I'll outline. I will not go through the verses one by one. So 30 and 31 is what are called Falashruti, giving us the result of all these practices. What will happen when you do this? Even a little bit. Alright, question.
A clarification, Swami. In the example you just gave about unceasing practice and your practice of your mantra by the Ganges in their cabin, which of those 6 forms would that represent?
Don't be confused because I am not giving that as an example of these 6 forms.
Okay.
That was just the mantra I was practicing the way we have, most of us we have been initiated.
Yes.
That was none of these 6 forms.
Okay, thank you.
That was as an example of Nirantaram, without break.
Okay, thanks.
That's the same as continuous, is it?
Continuous, without break.
Swami, I've got 2 of the words, Asanga, Satchidananda, and what was the third one you repeat in Sanskrit while you...
Oh, the internal one?
Yeah.
The internal Samadhi.
Yeah.
Here. Do you have the Roman transliteration?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Which
Come to verse number
Yeah.
25.
Oh, okay.
Asanga, unattached.
Right.
Satchidananda, existence, consciousness, bliss.
Right.
Swaprabha, self-luminous.
Swap.
Dvaita Varjita, without a second. Dvaita, second. Varjita, without a second. Asmiti, I am. Repeat it to yourself. Asanga asmi, I am unattached. To what? To the whole universe. When? All the time. Even when I think I am attached, I am actually completely unattached. Satchidananda. Asmiti. Aham Satchidananda. I am existence, consciousness, bliss. Swaprabha. Aham Swaprabha Asmi. I am self-luminous. Dvaita Varjita. Aham Dvaita Varjita Asmi. I am without a second. It's not positive self-affirmation. That's good, but this is not what is meant. You are repeating it as a fact. You are noticing it about yourself. Right. Should we bring it to an end?
Thank you.
Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Shri Ram